Now I'm going to put this aside because what I want to do now is I want to pick up the red yarn and I'm going to knit the scarf portion. Okay, on doing the scarf, it's going to be single bed only. It's very simple. It's called I cord or it's called idiot cord. So I just want to pull up 6 stitches. So I've got stitch, and I'm going to do a single bed cast on, but I'm not going to use the machine to do it. I'm going to put down every other needle, and I'm staying on stitch size 4, but I'm going to put my back bed on BX or GX because if I don't want any back needles knitting. And let me see, let me look at my scarf. I think we're going to stay on stitch size 4.5, so that's fine. So I'm going to knit 1 row. Now I've got my 1 row. Now I'm going to see how I'm going to push these all the way up, every other back into it. So I've got 3 needles with the loop of the red, and I've got 3 empty needles pushed all the way up, and I'm going to very gently, and we're going to have to redo that because I was on CX. I am so sorry. Need to be on N on the front bed. So let's try that again. Okay. Now see, even I make boo-boos, so it's a good thing that this is happening on tape so that you can see I'm not perfect either. Okay, so we now got it on N. We're going to knit 1 row across, and again we're going to take and we're going to put those up and then very slowly knit. Now I've got 6 stitches on there. Row count 0, and I'm going to knit 100 rows, and I'm going to hand tension by grab and hold of the string. I'm going to hand tension it until I can put a weight on it. Okay, I've knitted 20 rows about. Got my favorite clothespin weight. Now I'm just going to knit 100 rows. Okay, here we are at 100. Okay, so I'm going to take and I'm going to grab me up some yarn. Drop that back down, hook it up for the next time I want to use it. And again, I'm going to get my double-eyed bucking, and I'm going to sew these off. And I'm going to go ahead and take my weight off. And I'm just going to use my hand to tension it. Okay, last one. Oops, we caught it there. Okay. Now I do want a tight close on these ends. So I'm going to take this and I want to hide this. So I'm going to do a little loop. I'm going to give myself a little knot. Now I'm going to take and work up the sides here. Just kind of, I'm going to try and hide the length of yarn. So I'm just going to go up the side or the middle, doesn't matter. You're just wanting to hide this little bit of length here. I'm going to cut it off. Throw that away. I'm going to come to this other end and I'm going to do the same thing. Now I don't need to put a knot on this other end because of the cast on we used, but I do want to hide the ends of my yarn. So again, just up and down the side, just a bar or two. Okay, so we want to go, there we go. We're going to cut this yarn short right here. Again, I don't need that, so that's now trash. So I'll throw that in the trash. And just going to give it a good stretch. Now I've got his scarf. Okay, now we have it off the machine now, and we're getting ready to put in the fiber fill. Now I want to double check and make sure that all of my black stitches none of them dropped off, because it's hard to see on the machine. And as far as I can tell, I did not drop any stitches, so this would be the time I'd want to catch and bring those stitches up where I can. Okay, now we're going to start working. Now I don't need a lot of this yarn, and it's just in my way here. So basically, I'm going to cut the red off. Okay, and this black here I'm not going to use, so I don't need to hold on to that. So I'm going to cut that off. So I want to get rid of that yarn. Don't want it to tangle up. So I'm going to take that and throw it in the trash. So I'm going to need this black, this white, and this white, and this is waste yarn. So I'm going to cut this waste yarn here pretty short. Now, we don't care about how raggedy the waste yarn looks. So I'm going to run my finger. Well, first of all, I've got a tapestry needle. You can use your double-eyed bucking if you want. And we're going to get rid of this waste yarn here at the bottom. So I'm putting in my finger in it so I can help work it off. So I'm going to start picking this waste yarn out because I want a live stitch. So we're going to, there we go. And see, I don't have a live stitch there. Here's my first live stitch. So I'm just going to get my waste yarn out of the way. And I'm going to catch that live stitch with my white thread. And I'm just going to be rotating this around my finger as I need it. Okay, we're getting close to the end of sewing off the waste yarn. Now if this waste yarn is getting in your way, you can always cut it again. And that gives you a shorter string to work with. I do not want to catch my scissors in my sewing though. Okay, we're going to catch the last. Well, we did catch it because that other one was already in there. So we're going to pull this up really tight. So we want the tight bottom. And we're going to take a couple of stitches. Just to firm it up. Now I'm going to go inside, push my needle inside. I want it really tight. Now I want to pull, I want to see this bottom right here. Okay? So I've got it tight. Now I'm going to put in a holding knot. I'm going to sew again here, get that nice and tight. Now, this is not a garment, so a knot is not going to make any difference. Okay, now I'm going to cut this. I'm going to cut with a little bit of a string left to it. Push this back through. Now I'm going to need this yarn later. So what I'm going to do, I can get myself out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hang. I want to set that over there because I want to use this. I'm completely done with this waste yarn. In the trash it goes. Now the next step is we're going to make the brim. And as you can see, I told you I was clumsy. I just knocked off something. I'll get that in a minute. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my yellow tool, and I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to go ahead and grab this black and white yarn, and I'm going to pull it to the inside. And then I'm also going to grab the red yarn and pull it through. Now, we're going to be doing the brim. So what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sew a little knot in the red because I don't want that red to come out. And then I'm going to cut. I want as much of this out of my way as possible. Throw that in the trash. Then I'm going to go ahead and tie off this black with the white. And I'm just going to cut the black. I don't want to cut that white because I'm going to use it. Okay, I'm going to do my tapestry needle again. So what I'm going to do is I want to see black and red stitches. So I'm going to grab this first white stitch, and I'm going to go up here and grab this first red one. That's, the first one beside the knot. I don't want any of that black. I just want that red stitch to pick up. Okay, come on. Having a little bit of trouble getting that red stitch. There, we got it. So I'm just going to go now back to the white. Pick up the next red. Back to the white. I'm going to lay in about 4 of them or 5. Then I'm going to pick up the next white and the red. Now I'm going to pull tight. Okay? And I'm going to continue around, going to the next white, the next red, lay in about 4 or 5, and then pull it tight again, all the way around. Okay, we're coming close to the end. I'm going to pick up this one right beside the knot. And I'm going to try and pick up this where I had it knotted. Pick this one up. Okay. Pull it tight. That forms our brim. See? Now again, because this is not a garment, I'm just going to go ahead and tie a knot. Okay, I'm going to work that knot down good. I'm going to cut a little piece. And we got our brim going. Now we're ready for our fiber fill. And throw that away. Done with the tapestry needle. So I'm just going to get regular old fiber fill. Now this is, you're going to stuff this to however fat or slender you want your snowman. I'm going to start with a little piece and we're going to work it down into the bottom. So I'm going to, using my fingers, I'm just going to squish them down. I don't want that white yarn in my way just yet. So I kind of use my hand to kind of feel how nice and fat he's getting. Do I want him fatter? Do I want him slender? So I don't think I want that piece of paper in with my fiber fill. Okay, now see I got a nice right now squishy one. So I'm going to separate give him a neck. Okay, so that yarn I set aside, I'm going to double up. And I'm going to take it, move that black out of my way, and I'm going to tie. Okay, I'm going to tie it tight. Okay, I'm going to stick my finger down there and hold on to that knot there. And I'm going to get a if you have an extra hand, that would really help. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and tie it a third time. Now I'm going to clip this kind of short because we don't want it showing. And that's ready for the trash. Now see here now. Now you can decide, you can move it up, down, on how you want. Now I'm going to continue stuffing the head and the hat. Now as we get closer to the hat, I'm going to start drawing this up a little bit. Now you can make your hat flat or as long as you need it. Depends on if you want a point or if you want a more like a little round hat. So I'm going to continue stuffing. And this is where the stick comes in that they furnish you with. There we go. I'm going to tie it even more. Tighten the noose up even more. And I'm going to pull my brim down so I can see that. And I think I want just a tad more stuffing in my hat. So I'm going to use this tool here and try and get this all in. Kind of squish it to the side. I think I got just the right amount for his hat that I want. Okay. Now I'm going to get my tapestry needle again. And doesn't always like to get all that fiber filled inside. Now I'm going to do the same thing I did on the bottom. I'm going to do some stitching and close up that gap as tight as I can get it. So I'm going to go in a couple of different ways. Okay, I know it's kind of hard to see on the black. On that, trim off some of that fiber fill there. Get that out of my way. I'm going to continue sewing it tight. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a knot. Okay, I want that knot tight. Now I'm going to go in through the top of the hat and I'm going to come out somewhere down here. And then now I'm going to cut my yarn. I'm going to pull it out a little and cut my yarn. Now that yarn is hidden. Now you can do one of two things. We can go ahead and let's get our scarf tied on. You can tighten up his neck a little bit tighter. Now you can take your black yarn and make you a loop to hang on your Christmas tree. But I like to be a little bit more festive. So I've got this. I've had this for years, so I can't tell you where it came from, but a lot of the fabric stores should carry something like this. But now I'm going to go in to the side, and I'm going to go out to the side because I don't want them to be done. You can make this as long or as short as you want it, depending on your Christmas tree. I tend to go kind of long with a lot of thread, and then I'm going to tie a knot here at the end, and then I'm going to snip it. And if that's too long, you just tie a knot further down and just shorten it up how you want. Because I think I got a shorter one here, so this one's probably way too long. So let's go ahead and shorten it. go. How about right there? No, we don't need that. And now we've got a snowman. So I hope you enjoy, and happy knitting.